What's up, TMGers? How is it going? We are back with the Road to Scratch and Claw 2 late night TV fights. How is everybody doing tonight? I want to pass it on over to the judges. Y'all want to introduce yourself first. How is it going, Mr. Carefree?
It's going fantastic. I'm excited to see these two competitors fight it out. Ryan is a tough opponent. He beat me in his last match. It was a great match. Papa West is also super good in debating. He gets very intense sometimes, gets very angry sometimes. So it's going to be great to see how both these two doing. And let's have a good match. I'll be listening carefully.
How about yourself, Jonathan? How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing very good, though. And by the way, I'm sort of even though I'm currently taking a break from late TV fights right here, though, I recognize these two competitors right here, though. For example, same thing with Richard, even a little differently because I got beaten by Papa West one point in my very first debuts in the two late TV fights, and I know he's a very strong competitor each competition it faces. Ryan, same thing, and I seen him and I judged him in a couple of matches right here. He knows his stuff and very much big knowledge along with it. So I'm actually can't wait for this match.
Yeah, I believe this match is going to be a great match. Obviously, my rookie debut over at Game Zone was against Mr. Papa West, so I know how formidable of a contender this guy is. I've never been on a panel, nor never went against Ryan. However, I have seen previous debates of his on the channel, and he's a fierce contender as well. So I feel like this is going to be a great match. How are you guys doing down there? How are you feeling before the match? Papa West, you want to go first?
You lose one debate against a guy who is debuting and no one lets you live it down. Taryn, thank you for making me relive that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was an accident.
Okay, let me just say this. Taryn, thank you for doing that. And everybody else who has made that comment to me, all like 53 of you, thank you for making me relive that. Yes, I am competing in late TV fights because even though I run a division, I can still compete in it. This is going to be fun, I hope. Let's go, Ryan.
Yeah. Boo, who you lost is somebody who had their debuting match. I lost against a guy who was literally coughing up blood. Not literally, but he was coughing the entire match. He won not by sympathy votes, but because he was able to outmaneuver every cough with an argument. So please, be humble, man, because trust me, we're gonna get down and dirty. We're gonna be tearing each other's throats off in order just to move further into here. You might have 1-1, 0-1. I had a losing streak before I beat Richard, okay? And I'm not going back there again. I am not going back in that corner. If I have to go through you just so I can keep my winning streak going of 1 win, please, I will do so.
Ooh, getting feisty already. I love it. I
was trying to be nice. What the crap, Ryan?
I love the feistiness here. Keep that fire. That's going to get you far here, man. I also want to reiterate some of the rules. Obviously, all of you loyal TMG fans know the rules, but we might have some new folks in the audience. So we will start off with a 90-second opening for each contender here. Then we will have a 5-minute back and forth debate. And then we will end with each opponent getting a 60-second closing. There will be a 1-minute extension time that will be one-time use for one category only. Each player will have the opportunity to do that, and the judges will write down their pick prior to anybody giving their choices as to make it fair and so that the other judges don't influence any of the decisions that are made. However, with that being said, I believe that we can go ahead and get started into the first question. The first question is Mr. Papa West's strength. That is Game of Thrones. What was the best battle sequence in the Game of Thrones series? Mr. Papa West, your 90 seconds will begin whenever you start talking.
All right. So the best battle sequence in Game of Thrones, you have to look at the episode. It started out fighting high intensity, and it ended in high intensity. And you don't have to go far from it. It's like right kind of in the middle. It's a good in-between mark of the entire series itself. Season 4, episode 9 of said season 4, the penultimate episode of that said season. The Watchers on the Wall. The battle that I'm talking about is the Battle of Castle Black, when Mance Rayder tried to take over Castle Black and defeat the Knights. Why can't I think of what they're called? But Jon Snow and his friends, whatever they're. Wow, the Night's Watch. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Mance Rayder takes on the Night's Watch to finally get past the wall, to get into Westeros, so they could be safe and not have to worry about White Walkers. It has everything you want. Awesome action, a great heartfelt story, an internal struggle between a man fighting the side that he's lived for and the side that he knows is right. And it's the best battle sequence in all of Game of Thrones. The Watchers on the Wall, the Battle of Castle Black, conceding.
Alrighty, he conceded with 5 seconds left, so that was good timing. Anyways, we will go on over to the opening for Ryan. Your 90 seconds will begin whenever you start talking, sir.
Just like my opponent, I too also picked a penultimate episode that also displayed a battle in Game of Thrones, and that is Season 2, The Battle of Blackwater, when Stannis Baratheon charges into King's Landing, and Tyrion Lannister, throughout most of Season 2, has had to do his best to clean up the mess that was made from Joffrey from Season 1, and having to manage so many snakes inside this den, which is his sister Cersei, Yenna Sut, who he sent up to the wall in order to be with the Night's Watch, and also so many other players within. Sure, it was mainly him and Cersei, but the Battle of Blackwater shows that Tyrion making those changes at King's Landing, having to keep Joffrey in control, was there for a reason. Because during this battle, Joffrey Baratheon, who claims to be a king, who claims to be someone of a proud warrior, proved to be nothing more than just a scared little coward who can't command anything. It was up to Tyrion to stand up and fight. He uses battle strategies. He uses tactics in order to take over the overwhelming numbers that Stannis has. And while the battle does go in his favor, he is ultimately betrayed later on by his sister by paying off a knight to kill him. It's only until his father shows up with oh my God, I'm forgetting the other family's name. It's only until his father shows up with reinforcements they win the battle there. But the thing is with this, Blackwater was fantastic because it was unprecedented at the time of Game of Thrones, where everyone thought this was going to be a cat and mouse kind of situation. They showed they can do big battles here. If we didn't have the Battle of Blackwater, we didn't get Watchers on the Wall.
Those were those opening arguments. Great opening arguments from both. And now the 5-minute timer will begin as soon as I can switch this up here. We'll begin as soon as someone starts talking.
All right, so Ryan, real quick, you said that with the Battle of Blackwater, we finally see that Joffrey is not the person that we all think he is. Actually, no, we've seen that throughout the first 2 seasons. We've seen Joffrey's the greatest. But no, he's just a little scared punk-ass bitch. We saw that with when him and Sansa were spying on Arya and the Butcher's Boy. And then Joffrey says he's going to fight the Butcher's Boy. Arya cuts his face and he starts crying like a little girl. We've seen that so many times. It just reiterates it, and then we still see it afterwards.
Yeah, he was a bitch boy, but the problem is that he was a bitch boy protected by his mother. It's not until he becomes king, he becomes power hungry. In Season 2, he pretty much kills anybody that offends him. He tortures women that Tyrion sent, hoping that they would appease him. Joffrey, this is Joffrey unleashed. Nobody to rein him in. It's not until the battle happens, all that bravado he built over that entire season comes crashing back down to where he was in Season 1. And the fact that his loyal... The Hound decides to abandon him. That's exactly when Joffrey's confidence leaves him, to where Tyrion has to step up, and he gives that great speech. He's not trying to rally these men to defend. He's just pretty much saying, there's good men out there. Let's go kill them so we can go home.
So,
That's
quick
much
question
better.
for you. Quick question for you, Ryan. During the entire battle, where is Joffrey? You can answer this question.
If you're trying to tell me if this is a weakness, no, it's not a weakness. This was something his mother wanted, him behind that wall. Joffrey
So you just said for the first 2 seasons, he has a weakness, that's his mother, but when he becomes king, he becomes power hungry.
Yes, his mother was never his weakness.
You did say, and he leaned upon her. You literally said that. And then whenever he becomes king, he becomes power hungry and doesn't lean on that. Yes. We see he's about to fight, and Lancel comes up. Joffrey, your mother wants you in your room. She wants you to be safe. Well, or she needed to talk to you. Well, how urgent did she sound?
Abandoned him.
No, this is before they start fighting. This is before they.
Still there. He is still there. If you want to talk about, let's talk about what happened at the Watchers of the Wall, okay? Let's talk about this. Even though you have Alistair Thorne commanding, and even after he gets injured, the man he puts as his second in command, Janos Sue, who was sent from King's Landing, that is a bigger bitch boy compared to Joffrey. The fact that
he's also not king, so
he runs away. No, Joffrey.
And then you see Jon take over. You see, you fall in love with him even more.
Did something about it. At Battle of Blackwater, nobody was doing anything with Joffrey. Those men would have died until the Hound left, until Joffrey ran away, until Tyrion, with his back against the wall, had to do something. It works because there is a give and take. Yes, you might see that as a disadvantage, but the thing is, that was the point. Joffrey is intimidated. You slowly start seeing throughout, from season 2, like I said, power hungry. This battle is chipping away everything he tried to make himself to the people. You see him battle in the. Go ahead. I've been.
But
talking.
Again, this is stuff that we have seen. We've seen, Sansa's in love with him, and then she realizes that he is a maniac, and she immediately turns against him. You see all these people. Well, they love him because he's their king, because they have to, but really deep down inside, they hate him. It's exactly what you see with the Battle of Blackwater. With the Watchers of the Wall, you see Alistair Thorne. People don't like him, but they respect him. Then he has to go down to the main fighting, and he gives it to the other guy. I'm sorry, I cannot remember his name. But again, another little bitch boy, even though he's an old man. And he held the major police of King's Landing. Who cares? You get to see him realize that he's scared to death and give Jon command. You get to fall in love with Jon all over again.
He did not give Jon command. Somebody had to command him that Alistair wanted him somewhere else.
Yes,
no,
he took
he
off.
Did not relinquish command. Someone lied to tell him he was needed somewhere else as an excuse to get him away.
But you see Jon take over command of where he left off. We love Jon Snow. You get to fall in love with this character, and then you see Jon Snow actually go back down to fight all the wildlings.
We were in love with Jon Snow since season 1. It was this. The whole point of that tension was let Jon run things. With Battle of Blackwater, we already knew Tyrion was going to step up because he had laid the groundwork. He had poured dragonfire into the water to destroy Stannis' fleet. He had strategically used areas to do hit and run tactics in order to keep Stannis' army at bay. Jon was pretty much keep him behind the wall. Yeah. Damn.
Okay. What a heated back and forth. All right. So we will go on to closing arguments. Since Papa West started in the openings, we will start with Ryan in the closings. And your time will start whenever you begin talking.
Not to detract from just Joffrey's inability to take command of the Battle of Blackwater, that was there for a reason. We all knew at home that Joffrey could not do anything when the battle was brought to him. He kept building this bravado of him being a king. Every battle that's happened, when you see more dead bodies, when you start seeing men being slashed down, when the Hound leaves and you see Joffrey's bravado being chipped away piece by piece, the battle worked that way to show how psychologically weak he is, to where Tyrion had to stand up. And as I mentioned, Tyrion used battle tactics that he had been developing since season 2. Using Dragonfire, using the limited resources of men, using the city itself as opportunities to take advantage of Stannis, who at the time thought he knew the city, but Tyrion proved he knew the city better. And when that moment came to charge and kill those men, Tyrion was doing his best out in the field. A man his short stature was fighting until he was betrayed. Even then, this whole thing was a great opportunity to show exactly Tyrion was a better pick. Ah, crap. Okay.
Now on to Papa West. Your time will begin whenever you start.
So what you're telling me about your battle is just little moments about it. The actual battle itself isn't all that great. I mean, it's dark. You can barely see anything. It has its moments. I'll be honest. When Tyrion has Bronn shoot the wildfire and it blows up all the ships, that's one of my favorite parts of all of Game of Thrones. But it's one small part in the episode. During the Watchers of the Wall, the entire time, it's a battle. You have the Night's Watch on the top of the wall shooting down at the wildlings on the wrong side of the wall. Then you have down on the main level, you have the Night's Watch there and the wildlings that were with Jon Snow, who had already went over the wall, attacking them at both sides. You want to talk about a great moment? When the giant is going through the tunnel and they're the 5 Night's Watch members quoting their their vow, and they know they're about to die.
Time. Alrighty, judges, go ahead and write down your winners for this round here.
The greatest part of my life is when I'm trying to think of something I can't think of the word.
I think it's clear we had a lot of blanks. We had a lot of blind spots with this question. What was for each remember the names?
Alrighty, so looks like the judges are all ready. Mr. Carefree, we can start with you on this one. We'll just go left. We'll just go left to right on this.
Okay, well, here was my problem. They kept on going. Both of them kind of kept on talking about certain characters, not necessarily the battle. So I had to really focus on their closing arguments, and that's where I came to my decision. Because I feel like they lost track in their fighting. However, in the closing statements, I voted for Jacob because I got more of a sense of why his battle sequence towards the end, when he was talking about Jon Snow in the giant sequence, more than what I heard from Ryan. Ryan, what I really only heard was about Joffrey and a little bit about Tyrion. And I think he focused too much on the Joffrey aspect. They kind of lost it for me. So that's why my points going to Jacob. Just closing arguments along. It was a fun match.
All right, Jonathan, do you want to go ahead and let us know who won your round?
All right. I have a similar thing with Richard, but I'm actually going to defer. I actually give my point to Ryan because he pointed out some of the things, even though it's not that much. He pointed out some of the things during the Battle of Blackwater, why he sort of have more impact to it right here. Yeah, he did mention Joffrey a little too much, though, but he does point out some of the instances of the context of the battle. But with Jacob, I didn't hear enough why mainly the battles right here. You just sort of like about Jon Snow, what we love Jon Snow, but Ryan, come back at that because we already loved Jon Snow like earlier the season. So I think Ryan put up some more examples of that. So I will give my point to Ryan.
Man, already y'all making me be the tiebreaker. Round 1. All right. I'm going to go ahead and have to give my point to Ryan as well on this one. Mine, a lot of it came from both the arguments and the opening arguments as well. I loved how Ryan was really opening up his argument with setting the scene of the battle. He not only set the scene of the battle, but he gave the purpose of the battle, and he talked about what the battle actually accomplished and how the battle was won and some of the conflict that came after the battle. And then during the back and forth argument, it just seemed like almost anything that Jacob was throwing at him, he was able to combat and refute with, in my mind, a valid argument. So that's why I gave my point to Ryan on that one.
It was a good fight, though. In conclusion, Joffrey is a bitch boy. I agree.
I would have loved to have a 10-minute argument about that one.
It was.
Yeah, we can do a top 10 list of why he's a bitch boy.
Yes.
That was a very, very close first round. Go ahead, write that down there. All right. Now, for round 2, this was Ryan's strength. So you will start off your opening debate. Let me fix my timer here. And this question is, which celebrity would you like to see come over from the bad place to the good place? And your time will begin whenever you start talking.
Now, with the question itself, I looked at the idea of celebrity, and I started to stretch along the means, not just someone of media fame, pop culture. I started to look at someone within the context of celebrity of historical significance, and the person I chose was Martin Luther King Jr. to bring from the bad place to the good place. Because the thing with the good place is, spoiler alert to anyone who has not seen it, it's revealed in the first season that the characters living in the good place are actually in the bad place. And they spend throughout the later seasons trying to earn their way into the good place, where it's discovered that Earth has become so much complicated and a mess to where nobody has entered the good place in over 500 years, which means Martin Luther King, a man who was able to lead a movement of civil rights in America to help break barriers between black and white and interracial relationships, did not even come close to coming into the good place. He ended up going to the bad place. So this is someone I believe should be brought there because of what he stood for, what he fought for, and what he sacrificed for. And I will concede my time.
Alrighty. And let me reset my time here. Papa West, your time will begin whenever you start talking.
All right. So when I thought of the perfect celebrity to move from the bad place to the good place, first off, I'm not going to say, hey, it was all a trick and everyone's actually in the bad place. No, according to the TV show, this person is in the technical bad place. And she shouldn't be. She should be in the good place, because if anyone deserves it, it's this lady. Born in the 1800s, she was an American author and poet. I am talking about Emily Dickinson, who only reason she was in the bad place is because she didn't earn enough points to get in the good place, because she died too early, which is a shame because, let's be honest, I mean, if you read any of her work, she is amazing. She is a national treasure. And the fact that she's in the bad place is just sickening. Emily Dickinson should be in the good place. Concede.
Alrighty. So we have had our 2 opening arguments. We will now go to our 5-minute back and forth debate. The time will start whenever somebody starts talking.
I'm going to be honest here, Jacob. These are definitely some good picks that we both have. And to be honest, when it comes to the concept, both of them do deserve to be in the good place. But if it had to ultimately come down to someone puts a gun to my head and say pick between the two of them, I would pick Martin Luther King Jr. because of the presidents that he had. Also, the fact that this man was a minister as well. So he had he believed in a moral and spiritual standpoint on why he fought for his convictions, though. And the fact that, yeah, when it comes to the good place and he didn't earn enough points is mind-boggling myself to why the hell this man would not be brought. Why would he be stuck in the bad place? Why would someone who was assassinated for what he believed in be left tortured by people who don't even understand why he fought for what he did?
Oh, I mean, a lot of people were killed for what they believe in. I mean, he's just one of the many. So I realize I am not saying that Martin Luther King Jr. was not a great man. He is a very good man. He's a very great man. Because no matter what I say, I'm going to look like a racist when I'm doing this argument. Please.
Hey, I'm going to call up as sexist trying to argue against Emily Dickinson, man. So trust me, we got like a hot pot meets kettle situation here.
Yes. So I realize that a lot of people have been killed for their religious views, but just because you believe in something does not make it right. You know, I believe what I want to believe. There are people who do not share the same beliefs as me. Are they wrong? I don't know. Am I wrong? I don't know. Is one of us wrong and one of us right? Yeah. When it comes to Martin Luther King Jr., was he wrong? I'm not going to say he was wrong. There are people who will say he was wrong. Does that make him wrong? No. Does that make him right? No. So just because he believed in something and died for it does not make him a good person. Whereas with Emily Dickinson, she literally, like, there was nothing bad about her. Again, the fact that she's in the bad place just baffles me.
If that was going to be your sole context as to why Martin Luther King Jr. is there, then that would be a fair context. But at the same time, when it comes with Earth being complicated, you have to look at where he was put in during the time with Earth from the 1940s to the 1920s, all the way up to the 60s before he started doing his movements of civil rights. His religious beliefs wasn't just about religion. I said it was spiritual because he believed in a civil liberty that men should be created equal. Not just men, but women and children should not be separated amongst each other in a time of America during heated confrontation. Emily Dickinson, yeah, she had probably a worse fallback going in a society where women barely had a choice in what they did with their lives and what they said as well. And sure, mostly her in the bad place could be an injustice too, but there's also a lot of other people. Like I said, if a gun was pointed to my head and I had to choose between the two, I would pick Martin Luther King. Emily Dickinson, yeah, a great writer, a great poet too, but there's also other women writers who are ultimately in the bad place over Emily Dickinson, like Mary Shelley. I would actually want to get her into the good place because of her novel of Frankenstein, because of Frankenstein, she talks about of men trying to play God. That seems more of a moral, like something more that would give her good place points because she's talking about the moral ethics and the moral consequences.
You don't get to go to the good place for challenging God. Let's just get that out there. I'm just gonna say it. I'm going to say it,
Okay.
Ryan. If I were to point a gun to your head, the only reason you would pick Martin Luther King over Emily Dickinson is because Martin Luther King had more of an impact in your life than Emily Dickinson had in your life. I'm not just talking about you in general. Emily Dickinson had more of an impact on the world than Martin Luther King Jr. did. Martin Luther King Jr. was just America. Emily Dickinson, her work has been around the world. People in Africa are learning to read off of her stuff. It brings joy to everyone, not just
That would be a
Americans.
fair point, but Martin Luther King did have a wider impact outside of America because it wasn't just Americans, like among black and white relations he was able to help. He also inspired leaders amongst Hispanic communities, amongst Asian communities to fight for equal justice, not just within America, but also beyond borders as well. And even then, and during the time, a biggest example was the apartheid in Africa. Some people were protesting there, used some of the preachings and speeches that Martin Luther King did in his I Have a Dream speech as some of the basis and some of their motivations to help end apartheid in South Africa, which was very more racially charged. I mean, that's
And they also
worldwide
use Emily Dickinson
Time.
novels.
I did not think this was going to be a hard question.
I promise, guys, I'm not racist.
I'm not sexist either. Oh my God.
I just want to throw this out here. I don't think either one of y'all are racist or sexist. I think you both are great individuals. And so, yeah, that was a great back and forth. Man, every round has been heated so far. And I'm loving this. So, Papa West, you will be first to do your closing statements here whenever you start talking.
All right, so when it comes down to the fact, Martin Luther King Jr. challenged the normal. And it turned out working great in his favor. But with the good place, I mean, there's a normal. Do you think they're going to want someone who challenges that? I don't think so. Plus, if you were in the good place, would you rather talk to someone who fought adversity his entire life, or a lady who would actually entertain you with just fun stories, not just what she did in her life, but also like stuff that she's imagined? So not only would she make my life in the good place better, she had a better life in general. So she deserves to be in the good place. Again, saying Martin Luther King Jr., because he believed in something and fought for it, means he's in the good place. Not necessarily the case, because there are so many people who believed in evil things and died for evil things. that don't belong in a good place. They belong in a very bad place. Emily Dickinson deserves to be in the good place.
And Ryan, your time for your closing statements will be as soon as you start talking.
Tit for tat. Tit for tat. There are people who have also written a lot of material in history that has also inspired many horrific acts and also in some ways have entertained. I mean, there is the Mein Kampf, the Communist Manifesto, as for examples. I mean, if you want to talk about people who's used writings, yes. Emily Dickinson, who has created entertaining poets. Edgar Allan Poe also wrote some entertaining stories too, but if you look at this man's life, I would not want to put him in the good place. Stephen King has written some entertaining stories, but at the same time, those stories, I wouldn't want this guy in the good place if you wanted to put Emily Dickinson into this category. Martin Luther King, yes, that argument that he fought and what he died for can definitely be interpreted as he definitely be interpreted and compared to those who have done that stuff for evil too. But like I said, it was about context in this situation. If you look at the nitty gritty, he was fighting oppression. He was fighting the fact that people were being treated less than human, being seen as animals, as less than a thing.
All right, judges.
That minute.
You will have time to write down who you believe won this round. Just hold your clipboards, your cell phones, whatever you're using up whenever you are ready. Alrighty. Jonathan, would you like to start this time?
I wish I could say no, but I had to. But here we go. First, okay, I just want to get this out of the way right here. You two are very nice guys. I just want to get that part out of the way. This is awful fun right here. And two are not bad choices. But if I have to choose, based on the arguments and the opening in general, I'm gonna get my point to Ryan because he put some great examples. Why Martin Luther King deserved to go to the good place, and he put out everything, some great examples why he belongs to the good place, and he pointed out like he has so many liberty for everyone else, and worldwide impact that he got right here, and his knock on Jacob of other writers or other female writers, should I add, like that, and might more deserve to her to go to the good place. So I'm gonna get my point to Ryan.
All right, Mr. Carefree, what are your thoughts on this round?
My point is also going to Ryan, and it's mainly also both had great examples. My only thing when it comes to Jacob's point of Emily Dickinson saying that, or attacking Martin Luther King, saying there's other people believed in, other things believed in may not be good. He didn't give examples of. He didn't name other people. I think would have been a better defense. Whereas
I was not going to put Hitler and Martin Luther King in the same sentence.
I know, but still, like Ryan put out, like
I was thinking it. I wasn't going to say it.
I know. I mean, you could have brought out Gandhi for an example, but
he was a good man, though.
Well, I'm just saying. I got more examples from Ryan about why Martin Luther King. Jacob did have that fact that Emily Dickinson did teach, people to read, but still have other people. And Martin Luther King not only helped the Black community, he helped the Asian community, Hispanics, other people around the world. And I'm sorry, Jacob. Ryan had the better argument when it comes to more examples, and he defended his points against you pretty well.
There was literally no good choice between us, Jacob. We did not want to go into the sexist or racist column.
Can I say something before we move on, though? If this actually happening, though, Jacob, are you referring to Haley Steinfeld as Emily Dickinson or Ryan, maybe David Oyelowo as Martin Luther King? I can imagine them in the good place. Imagine thinking about it. So,
I was just thinking of the historical figures. I wasn't thinking of the celebrities portrayed them.
Yeah. So I was literally basing this argument off of people who have been in the TV show The Good Place or been referred to. So that's why I didn't even think of Martin Luther King or anyone that actually made a lot more sense than Emily Dickinson.
Mr. Rogers.
You said Martin Luther King.
This would have been a good example for Mr. Rogers.
That's a callback.
One time I tried to low ball, but it didn't work. Oh my god!
Speaking of that, if you hadn't seen it, just give it a watch. If you hadn't seen it,
Oh, people are gonna watch this and go, "Wait, what? What are these two dudes talking about? Martin Luther King over Emily Dickinson?" If you guys did a
Jacob
good-
hates black people. What?
Ryan does not love women. No wonder he's single. Wait, how do you know I'm single?
Oh, that's funny. All right, and my opinions on that round don't matter. So, let's just go on to round 3.
Taryn, who are we going to give your point to?
I would have honestly given my point to Ryan on that one. I just I liked the arguments that he was bringing up. He gave a vast amount of examples about why Martin Luther King deserved to be in the good place, and all of those examples, in my mind, were kind of like dinging up points for Martin Luther King on why he should have been in the good place. With Jacob's arguments, he really named teaching people to read and writing interesting novels, which kind of piled up to 2 points in my mind. So that's why I would give my point to Ryan on that one. All right. So going on to round 3, we have which canceled TV show from the 90s could get revived with an all-new cast. And since we started with Ryan on the last one, we will start with Papa West on this one. Your time will begin whenever you start talking.
All right. So when it comes to what TV show not only could be revived, but let's be honest, should be revived, because anything could be. But why do I want to see this show today? And really, it boils down to what's something that I haven't seen in a while. What's something that would actually sit people down and have them watch that. So the show that I'm going with started in, I want to say 1996. I don't have that. Yep, 1996. Aired for 6 seasons, and a lot of people really enjoyed it. Great premise. Third Rock from the Sun. I think having a family drama of extraterrestrials, though, in America would be something great to see. We could redo the graphics, make it look awesome, so you actually have them going from human form while they're out in the world, and when they get home, turn into alien. It would be really cool to see, talking about all the weird things that humans do, and especially right now. What is up with all these weird humans wearing these things over their face? But why do only half of them do it? It's like some people believe they'll breathe something in and the other half don't. I don't understand America. It's so divided. It would be great for right now. Just having that, a new aspect of it, of someone who literally has never seen humans before, seeing the mess that America is in.
I apologize. I was writing down notes.
You're good.
All right. So on to Ryan with his opening statements. Your time will begin whenever you start talking, sir.
I guess when it came down to the question of what canceled TV show could be revived to now with a brand new cast, I thought of TV shows that honestly were definitely canceled, not just way too soon, but were just never given the legs to show what they were capable of. And the show I picked was My So-Called Life that aired on ABC. This show didn't even get a full season. It aired in 94 and then it got canceled right at the start of 95. The show starred Claire Danes. It had a young Claire Danes, a young Jared Leto, and it was pretty much set in a very small town in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But the thing with that show was it was mainly just surrounding a teenage girl's, coming into her life, having her take these odd observations of herself and looking at everything in her life surrounding her town, family, and friends. Now, To say if it can't be adopted to now, I think it can, because shows on Freeform and shows on CW have shown that you can take a show that was from the 90s and revive it to now, or take a show surrounding a teenage girl or a preteen girl and still adopt them and have those and have the writing and have the theme still be relevant to this day, and keep it still in a fictional town within a real country. I mean, it doesn't have to be Pittsburgh, but it can be somewhere in Pennsylvania, or you can choose a town somewhere within the Midwest. This just leaves plenty of options. So then, while the show technically might be dated by using actual relevant times, like let's say the shutdown we're going through, or presidential elections, or just historical events, it can help. Don't use your minute. Wait till later.
Alrighty, so we have heard the opening debates. Or the opening statements, I shall say. Now we are going into the 5-minute back and forth debate. Time will start whenever somebody starts talking. The floor is yours.
So Ryan, I do commend bringing something that really never got to take a step. But the issue is, the reason it didn't get to take a step was because it was jam-packed in a lot of shows that were dealing with very similar things. I mean, Boy Meets World came out right around the same time. Literally the only difference, my so-called life is about a girl, Boy Meets World's about a guy. But they go through the same growing up, learning about human body, history, everything. You already get that. And you got that with so many other shows. Not only in the 2000s, right now, Euphoria just came out. It's exactly like My So-Called Life. I don't need another one.
That's what I'm saying. You can still take that show and adopt it and still revive it to even today's standards. It doesn't need to be set in the same place. You can still set it within a different city. They chose Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for this one. You can set it in a different state in America. Like you can set it someplace in Michigan, North Dakota. You can go somewhere like Arkansas. Choose a town that has its own problems, has its own setbacks, to where you can try to paint someone on the other side of the tracks growing up in situations like this. Yeah, and the difference, one thing I do see between Boy Meets Girl and My So-Called Life was that Boy Meets World was written straightforward as a comedy, while My So-Called Life, it kind of didn't have a chance to figure out what it was. Was it a straight drama? Was it some more of a light comedy and a drama? It never got its chance. With Third Rock from the Sun, though, you said it had 6 seasons. 6 seasons of material of aliens trying to adapt into America, even though their agenda was trying to relay information to their leader so they can learn more about the planet of Earth. Now, sure, you can do that again today, and maybe, but the problem
you 100% could do it again today.
Yeah, but the problem is
you should do it again today.
It needs to be very subtle. It can't be hitting over the head. It can't be more, oh, look at these weird people. Why is everybody
Why can't it be over the head? A lot of comedy is like straight up making fun of each other.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of comedy is. With it not being subtle, it's hilarious.
But like I was saying, I'm just saying it has to stick towards the writing and direction of that show, because there was a similar show that aired on the CW called Aliens in America. It was by lesser directors and lesser writers, but the problem was it was pretty much all about xenophobia of immigration, of a family that adopted an Indian immigrant when they thought they were getting a British one. It was pretty much xenophobia and racism underlined with jokes, though. If you were to take Third Rock from the Sun, you have to be very careful on who you casted and who you had to write the show and who you had to direct the show.
I mean, you have to be careful with anything you do. You can't.
But the premise of Aliens,
no matter what, you have to make sure.
Okay,
you have to make sure. Hey, is this person going to be the right role? Because I mean, we've seen whitewashing. We've seen someone coming out for the next part of the role, and then hey, they didn't do their research. Come to find out, this person's been in a huge scandal. Oh, we can't have this person in there anymore. So saying that you have to be very careful with who you cast isn't a good argument, because you have to do that with everybody. Again, with My So-Called Life.
Okay, go ahead.
With My So-Called Life, it's not something that people want to see. It was a drama for high schoolers. In the 90s, what was doing well was comedic stuff, not drama. What's doing well now? Comedy. something that
But you
makes
just
you
talked
want to
about
laugh.
Euphoria was sort of like My So-Called Life. That, in a way, is a drama through most of its plot. Drama
Oh, well, did I
does
say that
make
Euphoria
American
was succeeding? No, I just said Euphoria is out right now doing exactly what My So-Called Life is doing. Right now, we do not have a Third Rock from the Sun like TV show. Everything is family oriented, but it's an American family living in America, dealing with America. We have not seen people from a different world, a different time, something like that, come to America and deal with right now and just try to live through that. And it would be so interesting to see. My So-Called Life, I mean, I have a wife. She can tell me all about teenage girl drama. I don't want to watch a show about that.
Well, here's the thing with My
A lot
So-Called
of
Life.
people
I never
don't want to
really
watch a
gave
show
out.
about that.
My So-Called Life doesn't have to be the same as the 90s. As I said, it can be in a different thing. And I never said it could be like a straightforward American family. It could be, let's say, you can cast you can do this with Latino actors or African American actors. The point of My So-Called Life, pretty much in the way as it shows, you can do a situation. It could be a teenage girl. It can be a girl of adoption.
But if it's a reboot, it has to stick.
Yeah. Okay.
Whew, getting heated. Round 3 is just as heated as the first two. I am loving these debates. These arguments so far have been amazing. And who did we start with on that? We started with Papa West on that one. So we will start with Ryan on the closings. Time will begin whenever you start.
I'm going to use my extra minute on this one.
Oh, we're going to use the extra minute. All right, let me get that typed in, and we are ready whenever you are, sir.
What I said with My So-Called Life is that, as I said before, and I'll say it again, you can still take this premise and adapt it to any other state in America. But if I can expand on it, it doesn't have to be straightly about an American family. It can be about families of different walks of life. This could be of a teenage girl who grows up with two homosexual mothers in a relationship and who's had nothing but adopted brothers and sisters. And we can get from her perspective and her ideals of what family is clashing with what the American ideal of a family is. My So-Called Life is, at this point, it's very viable and it's flexible and versatile to where you can apply this to any idea of what the American family is and what life is for a teenage girl growing up. You did bring up Euphoria, and yeah, you may have not talked about its successes, but still, the fact that Euphoria, that you compared My So-Called Life, and they were similar, shows that My So-Called Life can still be revived to this day and rebooted. And one thing I did not bring up is that My So-Called Life, with the cast involved, you can take unknown actors and give them a platform to show them being good. And there are networks that can pick up My So-Called Life, like Freeform, like the CW. Heck, you can put this on Hulu for a streaming service and possibly get a fan base going. Or you can put this on Netflix, where they've had shows where it deals with teenage drama with either boys, girls of different walks of life, to where they try to figure out life while figuring out their own bodies, figuring out their relationships. As I mentioned, it's just like a beautiful gold mine you can go through. And the casting can be from unknowns, or you can take actors like Jacob Tremblay, or you can even take, or heck, you can take Zendaya or someone from the Disney Channel, and you can have them guest star or be cast members in this show. There is just so much more you can use in this. And I'm going to end my time here before I continue rambling on.
All righty. And let me get this set back up. Papa West, your closing argument will begin whenever you start talking.
I'll go ahead and use my extra minute too, please.
All righty. We'll get that set up, and we are ready whenever you are.
Okay, so you just brought up having Zendaya on there. Again, Zendaya was in Euphoria, a TV show with the same exact premise that came out last year that did not succeed well. So please, Ryan, tell me, after a year, why is the exact same premise going to succeed? It's not. With Third Rock from the Sun, this is something we haven't seen since 1996. If you want to say, well, a lot of these streaming services and channels can bring it back, they can bring back Third Rock from the Sun too. NBC came out with Third Rock from the Sun. I'm pretty sure they already own the rights to it. Oh, hey, NBC's coming out with their own streaming service, Peacock. That would be great. Having this be like the main thing to bring people over to Peacock. Yeah, a Third Rock from the Sun reboot. A lot of people who grew up in the '90s are going to be all in for that, and something that NBC doesn't have a lot of steam rolling for it. That would generate a lot of steam. Bring in actors. Well, guess what? Jonathan Lithgow. This is how he became famous. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. That's how they became famous. So you can bring in actors who haven't succeeded well or lesser known and bring them in. And the great thing about this family drama, you're going to have a middle-aged man and a woman. You're going to have a young boy and a young girl. You can literally hire anybody and bring them. You're not just tied to sticking with teenage girls. And you want to switch around the story. When you reboot, you have to stick with that story if you're going to reboot that series. Otherwise, this was just pitch a random TV show that would do well. Which, again, My So-Called Life would not do well today. Third Rock from the Sun, sign me up yesterday.
And time. All righty. So, judges, we'll go ahead and write down your results on who you believe won that round. All righty. I'll go ahead and start this one. I personally would give my point to Papa West on this one. I loved the examples he was giving on how you could update the show. I loved, how he talked about the satirical comedy with the current crisis that we're going through and how an alien from a totally other planet would see that. I feel like he was really hitting the hammer on the head and nailing the point across that Third Rock from the Sun is in a genre that is currently doing well. So that's why I gave my point to Papa West on this one.
I'm actually going to agree with you. My point is to Papa West because he pointed out some great examples why Third Rock from the Sun could be revived and made updates on the premise of the show itself. And also he put some great counters on Ryan's point for My So-Called Life with other shows around the time, even later on after the show's run, like Euphoria, for example, had that kinds of themes right here, though. Even during the time around So-Called Life was on air, Boy Meets World was on. It had some, not say similar issues, well, kind of similar issues, but it's just like more some other shows that did that around that point. So I'm going to give my point to Jacob.
All righty. Mr. Carefree.
Yeah, it would have been a clean sweep. Mine was also to Jacob. It was basically what you guys both said. Like Jacob was able to defend his argument really well. He gave more examples than what I heard from My So-Called Life. Jacob did attack the fact My So-Called Life. There was a lot of shows like that. I mean, even right now, there's a lot of shows like that on CW, especially. And the only thing I disagree with Jacob, there is a show like Third Rock from the Sun. It's called Supergirl because she's an alien. And there's other aliens.
I was waiting for someone to say Phil of the Future.
No, but I'm very surprised no one brought up, if it was me, but no, it's a different thing. No, it was a good shot. I just heard more
I was trying to think of that Rick and Morty
Rock the Sun than I did for
but it hasn't aired yet.
My So-Called Life. Yeah, so it was a good match.
Absolutely. Every round has been amazing so far. And we are
Party of Five because that failed miserably.
So did the 90210 reboot twice.
All righty. So on to round 4. Papa West started the last one. So we will be starting with Ryan on this one. And the question is, which TV show, the worst opening theme? Time will begin whenever you start talking.
Power Rangers Operation Overdrive had the worst opening theme I have ever heard. And this is talking about Power Rangers after its early golden years, where it was its Go Go Power Rangers, where it was catchy and it was melodic and it had some zinc and it used electronic synth into it, where it stuck into your head, where it was like an earworm. Then you fast forward down to where it's in its 15th anniversary season of Operation Overdrive. How do they try to what theme do they use to be synonymous with this with Power Rangers that's been going on for 15 years? They tried to take a song that's a mixture of EDM and rap music, barely written well rap music as well, where it's just lazy ass rhymes describing the whole entire plot of the show, where it's just five super powered people going to look for 5 stones. That's the entire show. You're able to learn more about the show from its theme than you are about the entire show in general. And while it might be a plus in this situation, but the fact that the theme itself doesn't carry well when you have to tune into the show every single week. The fact is, the moment you click onto this show or you go on streaming services, you want to skip past this. If this was on Netflix and Hulu, should I skip past this intro? Hell yes, I want to, because every time I keep hearing Operation Overdrive, that is annoying and very grating on my ears and makes the season even worse to enjoy as a whole.
All righty. And Mr. Papa West, time will begin for you when you start talking.
If you're into fun and you love to play, if you like funny jokes that put you away, if you like to dance to a slamming sound, and you like having lots of friends around, and if you're one of those kids who live by the rule that sad is bad and happy is cool, ooh, little buddy, you're about to see you're in the very best place that you could be. Hey, it's Lamb Chops Play Along, where kids come and play along, and fun things are all we ever do. This is the opening to Lamb Chops Play Along, the worst song of the series. And yes, I realize that this is the song that never ends is in the same series. But when I would rather listen to that than this crap, that's telling you that this crap is crappy crap, not just the annoying crap. Literally, it goes from these characters reading off those lines that I started off with to the whole fun, this is Lamb Chops Play Along, and then it goes to the next thing, bounce your bottom in your chair, where they start rapping all these lines. You know who can't rap? An old white woman. You know who's the main person in Lamb Chops Play Along? Sherry Lewis. She's an old white woman. She cannot rap. And then you have these sock puppets, Lamb Chop, Sherry, Lamb, Hush Puppy. This is Lamb Chop Play Along.
Time. All righty. We have had our opening arguments. Let me reset my timer here, and whenever somebody starts talking, we will go on to our back and forth debate.
Okay, again, Ryan, you said it. The theme is better than the show. That doesn't make the theme bad. It makes the show bad. No one wants to watch the show anyway, so they're not going to watch.
I did not say the theme was better
beginning
than the
of
show.
this.
I said the theme summed up the show better than the actual show did.
So you can get the whole premise. So the theme actually has a meaning to it. So it's actually a good theme. Literally, Lamb Chops.
All Power Rangers themes summed up the show. But the difference with Operation Overdrive is that I can just listen to this thing and not want to watch the show. With other shows like Mystic Force, even when they tried their own attempts at a rap, at least I was still intrigued to want to watch the show. Operation Overdrive, once I watch it, it just kind of, I don't even want to know what this plot is. If I was watching this on Netflix, I would immediately cancel this. If I was watching this on TV, I would have changed the channel. And trust me, during this time, I was in middle school. I was still into Power Rangers. That would not have changed my mind. It took something like Operation Overdrive for me to finally realize this is not a program worth investing in. Here, with Lamb Chops Play Along. Oh, no, go ahead then.
Okay, as soon as you hear Lamb Chop going, if you like funny jokes that put you away, I'm turning that crap off too. I don't even get past like the 5th second. My son, my 5-year-old son, watched this theme song and just looked at me like, Dad, what are we watching? Can we please watch something else? It was for a children's TV show. It was geared towards children, and it doesn't even work for children. I get it. You don't like Operation Overdrive. Kids can have fun with that song, even if they're not even listening to the words. They're just listening to the beat, dancing around. There's some redeeming qualities to your song. There's nothing redeeming about mine.
That stupid rap, that stupid bump dance, kids can use that too. And I don't mean just in a good way. They can use that to annoy the hell out of people, because I know for a fact, I used to help run a daycare center. I remember when I randomly came across Lamb Chops Play Along, the moment those kids heard that stupid that part, half of the kids started doing that. So trust me, if you want to compare your son to half the kids, just like you want to compare my point to Overdrive to another population of people about Overdrive, we're going to be comparing apples to oranges all day long.
But how many kids actually got to the bounce your bottom part? Because again, my son, as soon as it started, Dad turned this crap off, like a lot of other kids.
Out of the 6 kids, 5 of them stuck around for the bump your bottom part.
Because they knew it was coming. Because you played it multiple times. You played it multiple times. They knew it was coming. And then it gets to that one nice fun part.
I never said played it multiple times, okay? If you want to talk about Operation Overdrive, as I have talked about as I just mentioned before, this show, as I said, when it sums up the show with a theme, it should intrigue you to want to watch the program. And as I mentioned, it was Power Rangers 15th anniversary, 15 years. And they also had a team-up episode. To Power Rangers fans like myself, we could skip most of the show and only wait until the 15th episode. But if this was a season, I wanted to invite new people to want to watch Power Rangers. Guess what? I'm going to tell them to watch the Zordon era, not Operation Overdrive. Skip the 15th anniversary. No matter, even though there is worse shows compared to Operation Overdrive, at least their themes were much better with this one. Yeah, and that thing about Lamb Chops you brought on, that if you had kids listen to this over and over again, they'll start repeating that. Well, guess what? Yeah, that was the point of it. That was the point. It's supposed to get in your ear. And then guess what? They're going to be watching the show.
Same with Operation Overdrive.
No,
like
Operation.
The Operation Overdrive. Like, kids were chanting that when it first came out. And again, you cannot say the fact that the show is bad makes the theme worse. I actually had a decent show. A show that a lot of people remember watching growing up. I don't know how, though, because I couldn't get past the opening theme to it. At least with Operation Overdrive. During the theme, too, you see the action, the Power Rangers fighting, all that cool stuff, actually looked intriguing. With Lamb Chops Play Along, you see these stupid-looking sock puppets just going, and kids running around. It just looks weird. Plus, the words to it are super weird. Whereas yours, it's a story.
Weird with sock puppets, then that's not a strong argument, because there was Punch and Judy, which was sock puppets. You had Howdy Doody, which was a sort of marionette and at times a sock puppet.
An actual puppet.
Even Barney used sock puppets in their sing-alongs for their themes, and people still were able to get past
time. All righty. Heated debates today. Every round has been super heated. This has been interesting. And I believe we started with Ryan on this one. So we will start with Papa West for the closings. Your time will start whenever you start talking, sir.
Again, you literally go from old white woman with their sock puppets rapping to Lamb Chops Play Along. Rap some more. Lamb Chops Play Along. It's all just like garbled mess. It doesn't make sense. With Power Rangers Operation Overdrive, the tone stays the same. It never jumps back from rap to rock to whatever the crap you want to throw in there, unlike Lamb Chops Playhouse, whatever it's called. I don't even like the show anymore because the theme just, it's bad. And of course, with the puppets singing, they're singing that out of tune. Just makes you cringe. If they had Sherry Lewis singing or like kids singing, it would have been so much better. You didn't have to have the sock puppets sing. Why'd they have the sock puppets sing? that scarred me for life. Operation Overdrive did not. It was okay.
Time. All right. And Ryan, your time will start whenever you begin talking.
I was more scarred by the puppets on Barney than I was compared to the puppets on Lamb Chops, and I was still able to get over that. If you, at least with the Lamb Chops play along, you actually had something to associate that song to. Operation Overdrive, it was pretty much like every Power Ranger song. It was sum up the action of the show. But what I said with Overdrive is that even after the theme, it's still supposed to carry you into the show itself. The show of Operation Overdrive was definitely bad because it had lazy writing, not any interesting plot points to keep the story moving forward, and it did nothing with its characters. And then you take that lazy writing itself, you take lazy attempts of genre mashing music of electronic with rap music with Operation Overdrive. That sums up the entire effort that was put towards that season. And as I mentioned before, Mystic Force itself used rap music, and it's still at least got me intrigued to continue watching that series. Operation Overdrive did not.
Time. All righty, judges.
Oh, God damn.
Go ahead and write down who you have winning this round. Just let me know when you guys are ready.
Papa West has some anger issues with Lamb Chop. How dare you?
I want to say,
I love the theme song. I don't know what you're talking about.
I want to say, I love the impersonation. Lamb chops.
I had a little Lamb Chop doll. I freaking hated it. It gave me nightmares for the longest time.
That was my show.
Lamb Chop doll. I didn't get what that was until finally my grandmother showed me the show.
All right, Jonathan, do you have your answer locked in? Just curious.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, Mr. Carefree, would you like to go first on this?
All right, my point is going to Jacob. I just heard more reasons why Lamb Chop's theme song was worse than compared to Operation Overdrive. Ryan just said like the show his main point was the show was bad, and it just summed up the show. If anything, that's kind of a bonus for the theme song that it summed up and turned out how bad the show is. The theme song actually did it for you. So, whereas Jacob pointed out that the off-pitch puppet sounds got really annoying, and then more constant examples. So my point is going to Jacob. I just didn't hear enough about why the song itself was.
All right, Jonathan, would you like to go?
Mine, I defer. I'm actually pick Ryan on this one because he pointed out some good counter arguments that why Jacob theme song for Lamb Chop, which even show examples. Like if you show it to kids, though, I don't think it's sort of that bad. It just made puppets sing along. It even put some other examples. They use it right here, so that was actually a good knock on it. Even though Ryan put some examples on during his opening about Operation Overdrive, not only that season was terrible, but just the theme song itself is just not that good at all. So I'll give my part to Ryan.
Man, y'all put the pressure on me to break the tie in the first round, and now in the fourth round, you are also putting the pressure on me to break the tie. In the first round, I believe I picked Ryan to break the tie. This round, I am picking Papa West to break the tie. Kind of like Mr. Carefree said, I just heard more about why Lamb Chops was a worse song. And Ryan was really trying to hit the point on how the entirety of the show was bad. And I believe that Papa West really was able to refute that argument when he said, just because the show is bad doesn't mean that the theme song is bad as well. That's why I give my point to Papa, Mr. Jacob West. Alrighty. So we are 2-2. That means it is time for a speed round. So the question is, who was the worst parent on the Riverdale CW show? Who was the worst parent on the Riverdale CW show?
It is apparent that they haven't seen the show.
Indeed. The
This
question
is going to
is,
be a fun speed round.
Jacob.
Now, while we wait, okay.
Okay.
He got his answer. Jacob.
Okay,
What's your
Jacob,
answer?
what was your answer for this one?
Alice Cooper.
Oh yeah, Betty's mom actually.
Ryan, Hiram Lodge.
All right.
All right, so Jacob chose Alice Cooper. And who did Ryan choose?
Hiram Lodge.
Hiram Lodge.
Hiram Lodge.
Okay,
Lodge.
Okay, great. Sounds good.
All right. This is going to be a fun one. Neither debater nor any of the judges have seen this show. So
Lamb chops, play Lamb chops, play
all righty. So since both answers are in, the speed round will start. Since Papa West gave his answer first, we will start with him. And 45 seconds starts whenever you start talking.
The worst parent of all of Riverdale is Alice Cooper, parent to both Betty and Polly. The reason why, let's say, where do we even begin? She abandons a pregnant Polly. Screw her. Abandons her pregnant daughter? Why would you do that? She tells Betty that her sister is mentally ill. That's stuff you don't do. I mean, my kids are little. I know that. You don't verbally abuse them. You don't ditch them on the side of the road when they're pregnant. She's also naturally overbearing, which is never good. She tortures her daughters into submission. She's failing all over the place. Bad mother.
Time. All righty. And goes 45, 45, 30, 30, 20, 20, right? Just
30, 30, 20, 20.
Okay, so it goes 45, 45, 30, 30, 20, 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure. All right. Ryan, your time will start whenever you begin talking.
Hiram Lodge is the worst father because as a father to Hermosa and Veronica Lodge, and he's a CEO and a president, you should believe that this man should know exactly what to do, how to take care of his daughter, how to take care of his children. But the fact is, this man, he has embezzled money from his company that ended up him in prison. Only then, to when he's released, he goes back to his town. He starts doing shady dealings, buying up businesses, trying to control people around to the point to where his daughter, even though she's rebelling against him, he is still manipulating to keep her under his thumb. To when Archie tries to get involved, he drags Archie down to where he tries to control everybody in this town to where he wants to be the top guy. And even then, he gets arrested. He is still continuing to do things, manipulating behind the scenes. This man does not know when to give up power and control and realize he messed up.
All righty. Get my timer set here. Mr. Papa West, your 30 seconds will begin whenever you start talking.
So he's flawed. Who cares? Aren't we all? At least he doesn't ditch his children when they're pregnant. And here's another thing. Alice, a lot of people think that she killed Jason. So she isn't a convicted felon because she got away with it. What's worse than getting convicted? Proving to people that you didn't do it. She is a horrible human being. Whereas yours just flawed.
Time. All righty. And Ryan, your time will begin when you start talking.
But Thanksgiving. Happening. Now.
Barney Stinson. Barney Stinson.
Sure, I can say that. You can say that a woman who abandoned her child because she was pregnant is a terrible situation and got away with murder. But here's the thing: she's not the only person in that town that has gotten away with murder. This town, there's people in this town that live in secret societies that has actually killed people and has smiled in the face of others while never ever getting caught. So Alice is more of a projection of the town's misfortunes and deeds. In a way, she is a tragic character. Hiram, on the other hand, he knows he's a bad guy. He's not going to redeem himself for being a bad guy. And he won't be a bad guy.
All righty. Now, Papa West, your 20 seconds will begin when you start talking.
But if you look at the bright side with Hiram, at least he's not as demeaning as his wife is. Penelope is so much worse. Whereas with Alice, she's the worst of the two parents. So you didn't even pick the right person in your family. Penelope is so much worse than Hiram, whereas Alice is so much worse than her husband.
Time. All right, Ryan, your time will begin when you start talking.
You're wrong. I did pick the right person. Sure, Penelope is very misdemeaning. She degrades people. But Hiram, as I mentioned, he is a manipulator. He controls things behind the scenes. You think he married Penelope because she's a good person? No, he married her because she's a bad person. And even though if he is locked up, he knows he's got the right person in order to keep people down and underneath both of their thumbs. He tries to prevent his daughter from being her own person compared to else.
All righty, judges. Go ahead and write down your choice for this round.
A backup speed question if we both didn't know this.
I do not like this speed round question.
I wonder who picked it.
So, fact check: Hermione, not Penelope.
Okay, so yeah, Hermione. It's Hermione Lodge, not Penelope Lodge.
All right.
So many great.
Thank you, Super Ed, for telling everyone that I've never seen the show.
Hey, he said the same thing to me, for Christ's sake.
So many good shows, and you chose Riverdale.
All right.
Shows.
My wife suggested this question. Subrath, there are times where you do not listen to the missus.
Wait, is she in the room with you, Papa West? Because we don't want Mama West showing up. It's like, what did you just say?
Oh, Mama West is in bed.
You could have chose any Arrowverse show, Supernatural, Vampire Diaries, Plague Scene.
Considering I haven't gotten a text yet.
Any Great Berlanti show. I just want to put that out there.
It doesn't matter. We did Riverdale. It's done with. We just have our fates are in the hands of the gods. Ugh.
Hey, they're judges, not gods. Dang it, she's not asleep.
You can call me whatever you want to call me.
They are determining our fate.
It's very godly nose. I have a very godly nose. I don't know if you're talking.
All right, Jonathan, would you like to begin this speed round?
All right. I will say this though to Papa West. You missed one crucial fact about Alice Cooper. She is basically having sort of a long-lost relationship with F.P. Jones, Jughead's father, who also Jughead dated Betty Cooper right here around that time. So basically, Alice and F.P. Jones, as sort of make Kendall, where their daughter and son are still together, though. So you could have brought that up. But that being said, I will still give you the point because he put some more examples of why Alice is the worst mom of the group. And Ryan, I didn't hear enough of you that why your choice, right? Even I myself have the Riverdale's name. Your choice right here just didn't have a sort more to me right here. And I was expecting a little bit more from that right here. I was hoping might be. So I want to give my point to Jacob.
We did not see this show, so whatever more you expected from us, we can pull from Wikipedia.
Well, I'm the judge, all right?
I love how you're like, you missed this. I missed a lot of it, Jonathan.
All right, Mr.
I have no idea what you just said, but yes, I missed
See
it.
what's here, the both of us.
Well, I'm
we
the
never saw
judge,
this
all right? I'm just
show.
saying what I was going through right here. Like, come on.
Don't worry.
Please tell me what else did I miss?
I'll forgive you.
All right, Mr. Carefree, who do you give your point to?
I mean, honestly, you guys could have just made up a whole grip of things, and I would have believed you because I'm not.
No,
You-
Brats would have fact checked us.
No, my point's going to Jacob. Quite honestly, ditching your pregnant daughter and murder is way worse than embezzling. The guy from Arrested Development went to jail because it's kind of the same reason. It's not a bad dude, but murder and ditching your pregnant wife, I think that's a lot worse than embezzling and manipulation because we're all
Pregnant
getting
daughter,
manipulated.
not pregnant wife.
Pregnant daughter, pregnant wife. It's the Riverdale. Sorry. No, I just heard more examples from Jacob. I mean, just
Oh, shit.
it's a tough. You guys did your best what you could, but honestly, you need a more clear. Just it's Jacob. I'm sorry.
And I
Murder.
agree. Personally, I have to give mine to Jacob as well.
That and your
Basically the same reason. I was just hearing more examples of why Alice Cooper was a worse parent. If the question would have been who is a worse person, I would have went Ryan's route. But the things that directly
I do think
affected
this
the
is a
children-
messed. I do think this is a messed up question for Cedar Round. I would hate to lose to this question. I feel bad.
Oh,
for
I
Ryan.
agree.
Oh my god.
So we have our winner, Mr. Jacob the Papa West. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm not gonna lie. About 3 hours ago, I remembered that Lamb Chop's Play Along does not start off with "This is the song that never ends." I had a whole argument bashing "This is the song that never ends," and about 3 hours ago, I had to throw it away. I was not expecting to win this. Ryan literally has either where he's like the best debater ever or he's bad. And I was expecting to have he is the best debater. And that's exactly the Ryan that I saw today. After being down 2-0, I was really scared of getting knocked out. And I'm just really glad I didn't get knocked out. Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I do not feel right with this win. And as the commissioner of Late TV Fights, I can make this happen. At some point, at somewhere where we are least expecting it, not me, because I'm going to be the one who makes it happen. I will have a rematch between the two of us. But it will not be a 4-question with the 5th question speed round. We're going to make this a whole championship-style match where all 5 questions are predetermined so we can study for all of them. So we do not have this happen. Now, again, I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know where it's going to happen. Probably going to be over the internet like we always do because I don't think you want to drive all the way to Wyoming just for this. But your redemption will come. I can promise you that.
Those are some great words coming from Jacob West, the commissioner of this league. And Ryan, how are you feeling, buddy?
To quote a Schmodown competitor and a guy I follow on Twitch and a book I owned where he wrote on Star Wars, the system has robbed me! Seriously! Come on! It was clear Papa West and I did not know Riverdale, and that long pause could have granted us another speed round question. And the fact that there was not, wait, hold on. And the fact that there was not another speed round question prepared shows that the system was trying to take me down. The system was against me the whole time. Jacob, you proved yourself as a great debater. You came back after a 2-0 deficit. You gave me shades against my match against Joe Farrelly, the current Late TV Fights champion, to where he was down by 2 and climbed back to take me to the speed round. But this, in general, of the speed round shows that there is no justice here. And if my justice has to come in a 5-question debate to settle amongst us who is the top dog of debaters, then yes, I definitely accept that. Damn, I'm out of LaCroix, so I can't keep doing that. But yes, I do accept the 5 questions we will have later on. I would have accepted another speed round question if you had run that way. I would have definitely accepted that loss. But just like a movie battleground match this is just another black stain on my record. I have to swallow like a bitter pill as if I'm trying to survive a virus. Oh, wait, I'm actually doing that now. So yes, I have to swallow this bitter pill, take this anger and aggression that's now bubbling inside me like a dark abyss. And I now have to channel that into my 5-question match with you. Or hell, I will try to channel that into any other division. I can't do it with Chokeslam because I lost my opportunity to become a #1 contender. So I'm going to have to channel this into Nerd Fights, or hell, channel this into Game Zone, or whenever movie Battleground comes back, I'm going to channel that into it, okay? This league has not seen the last of me. And one thing's for sure, you will not ever keep me down again. Okay, I need to get some LaCroix because my throat's parched.
All righty, and that was Ryan with a very passionate Malcolm X style speech. I agree. That's tough, man. Whenever the speed round question falls and neither of the competitors know the show, only one of the judges know the show. That's tough. That's very tough.
So who got that question though, Mr. Rogers.
All right, so
hey Richard, nobody asked you. Shut up.
All right, so oh, he left.
Oh no, I dropped him now.
Oh, he dropped him. All right, I was gonna go around the table. We'll start with the guy who was originally on my left, Mr. Carefree. I have to call you by your screen name because I am terrible with names. I apologize, sir. Where can we find you on your socials?
They can find me on Facebook under Richard Schwartz. I'm about to, unsubscribe to Jacob West because he's a dick and meanie. YouTube and Twitter under External Void, and normally in LA, but quarantine stuck in my house. Just doing stuff. Don't be a dick, Wes. That was not cool. Asshole. Not kidding,
All right.
I'll really kick you out this time.
All right.
I will make you go to your room.
All right, Jonathan, where can we find you on your socials?
Lamb chop.
You can find me on Facebook at Jonathan Peck. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at JPET1098. And also, you can find me on TMG, around the TMG space. We're about to have the finals after our Sports Brawl Rookies tournament right here. We were the winner of that match. We'll have a special surprise for them after winning it. If you don't know what that is, you'll find out and see enough at the end of that match. So keep an eye on that right here, though. So keep it a look up.
Awesome. Definitely going to keep an eye on that and keep watching Game Zone. All righty.
Sports Zone.
What is Sports Brawl? I apologize. Got Game Zone on the mind right now. How about you? That's not my intention. How about you, Mr. Papa West? Where can we find you on the socials?
Yeah, you can find me all over TMG Entertainment. I run Late TV Fights, which is this league right here, but I compete and help out in all the other leagues. You will see me soon get my redemption and beat Taryn in a championship match at some point. You'll see me get my redemption and be the Sports Brawl Championship in Jonathan's League at some point whenever he finally lets me compete again and get rid of this rookie tournament crap. And you can find me at work because I'm essential.
How about yourself, Ryan? Where can we find you on the socials?
People, you guys can find me on Letterboxd of my user handle Valentine316. I did an entire watch along of all the 25 Bond movies. I know there's a 26th one out there, but I can't find it. So I did 25 Bond movie watch along. I ranked them from best to worst, and I gave little side notes. And I'm gonna start another watch along to the Mission Impossible movies, while also, whatever recent movies I watched. And people can definitely find me around TMG, judging, maybe as an occasional host. And yes, I look forward to my redemption, my revenge, my retribution in that 5-question match. But until then, look for me on TMG, or hell, if you guys are interested in trivia, look at some of the trivia leagues out there. You'll find my face, you'll see my matches, some wins, some losses, but all in good fun.
Alrighty, and I am Tara Neal. You can find me on youtube.com/extreme screams, instagram.com @extreme screams. Basically, if there's a website and you can type extreme screams into it, I'm probably there. And you can find me around TMG as well, on Game Zone mainly, but I also, this is my first time hosting / judging, but I hope to continue doing that here because I love everybody here and I love the community that is around TMG. But yeah, so thank you everybody for watching. This has been a great match. Came down to the wire. And yeah, you guys have a great one, and we will see you later.